Welcome, everybody. We are live on Sunday, May 15th, just 2 weeks before Memorial Day weekend. I know a lot of you guys got out on the water recently. I got an email from Hux that he was out. Got an email from JD, and he did a cool little video on his channel saying that that he was out. He had done the best boat captain course, and I see from 68 Camaro. Check your plugs, everybody. That tells me that maybe he has a cautionary tale to share with everybody. Ray, I think Ray's been out. Saint made it on the lake first lake of the day. Okay, I thought that said first lake day when I first got here. Ray, the weather finally broke, started slow speed maneuvering docking. Actually works. That's a good thing. Let's hit that like button for sure, Saint. There's that beautiful face. Welcome. I think that's Rocketeer and Railroads. How you doing? R&R Adventures. And Brian, supposed to be delivered this week after 5 months. About to become real. That's awesome. Congratulations, Brian. I got an email from, who was it? I got an email from a guy the other day that he was expecting to take delivery on Wednesday, was ready to get out on the water, and turned out that the delivery got pushed back for something. I don't remember what it was, but he was hopefully going to take delivery Friday. So I don't know if I got a message that it got there or not, but it's that time of year. People are getting out on the water. Boats are showing up. Boats are hitting the water. My family got out on the water today, which was pretty nice. It was a short little run compared to what we usually do. And we got surrounded by weather and raced home down a rough, choppy channel. And but we made it. We made it to the marina, got in, and somehow we didn't get rained on. We got sprayed quite a bit with all the wind blowing. It was blowing right off our port bow, right into us. Every time I mistimed a wave or didn't get it trimmed just right, we got splashed. So but that's part of it. It's fun and a good story to tell. So finished that motor swap quicker than I expected. Took it for a test run. Nice. Good deal. Yes. Yes, that is you got to have the right motor for the job, right tool for the job, as my dad would say. So awesome. Well, I appreciate everybody joining us here today. And I look forward to a fun live. If you've not joined us before, here's how it works is I'm here and I will answer your questions. If you are Silver Stranger, welcome. Glad to have you. And this is how it works is you ask your question. I will give you my best answer. I will give you the best resources. If I don't have the answer or if I don't know anything, I'll say, I don't know. You stumped me. And if you are somebody that has a good answer to a question based on experience, based on some good knowledge, or hey, this is my opinion, but here's what I think. Feel free to share those in the comments. It's something that's been really cool is we're getting some folks that have been around boats for a while that just enjoy boating and they've gotten into the community. And as you know, as you get out into your boat this season, you're going to have experiences that I've never had before because of your area, because your style of boat, because something happened to you that just has never happened to me or somebody I know. So if you got something to add in the comments, feel free to jump in and share it. I really love that part of it. So Derek DeHogue, welcome. Hello to you as well. And that's awesome. Did you put that in the Bayliner Cuddy? Is that the one that you ended up doing that in? I think that's the boat you were talking about doing it with. But so I'll give, as we're going, just a couple of highlights for me that have happened lately is we hit, and I put this on the somewhere on the Facebook page, but we hit 30,000 subscribers, which is awesome. I was pretty excited about that. And we've also hit, if you can see that, we're just about at 5 million views, 4,989,000. 659 views since January of 2019 when this all got kicked off. Let's see. Silver Stranger, thank you. Have you heard of Dargle boats? Looking to trade in my trophy for one. Dargle. I don't know that, Silver Stranger. Our boats. Let's take a look here and see what we've got. Fishermen, so we know what our anglers want. Okay, so a center console, bay boat, flats boat, maybe even. It looks like a catamaran. Is that a catamaran? The Dargle difference. That's familiar with your new boat, Coast Guard, hydraulic steering, jack plate. Hand laminated, that's good. Reinforced stitching mat throughout. Transferable warranty. No labor charge on initial 20-hour service. Let's see here. Oh, no, okay, that's not. It looked like it might have been a... Okay. That's gonna have a really shallow draft, I'm guessing, looking at that hull design. Oldest family-owned and operated boat manufacturer in the U.S., 1937. Still running. Texas. Let's see here. Built his first wooden boat, used personally as fish. Russell Dargle Sr. started it. In the late 70s, Russell's son Rusty joined the business, worked for dealers, Texas Coast. December, Rusty retired. And Cleve and Miriam. Okay, that's awesome. That's what I wanted to see, is so many times a brand. Doogie. Okay, I got you, Doogie. So many times a brand like that will get started and they'll sell it, but somebody totally different. It doesn't stay in the family. It doesn't stay in the ownership. But that's awesome that the great niece took over and is continuing. That means that sort of that family knowledge stays in the business. So she's got her uncles and she's got, I don't know, maybe her grandfather, depending on if he's still around or not, and has access to that knowledge of this is how we did it. This is why we did it this way. And just when boats were made, because that was the right way to build them. And that I like it when that knowledge stays with it. And we're fishermen, know what an angler needs to maximize fishing time. Yeah, that's awesome. I wish I could share more about what I know about the brand, but I don't. Silver Stranger, what I'll do is I'll dig into some of their YouTube channels and see what I can find in my research. I'm sure you've gone down that rabbit hole a long ways if you're at the point of trading your trophy for one. But I'll dig in. And Silver Stranger, if you just shoot me an email, because I don't know that I have your email address. I don't know if I'd be able to figure out that it's your email address. Shoot it to me and I'll send you just whatever thoughts I have, or maybe even a personal video just for you, sharing what my thoughts on it and what I see that might be worth noting. But it looks like they're serious fishing. That shallow draft, I think you said, what, 6 inches is what I saw there. 8 feet wide, 21 feet long. Running, 6 inches of water. So that is a nice shallow draft. It sounds like they've got the jack plate as standard, and probably even a trolling motor as well as you're getting into the shallows. And I don't know if you guys do polling platforms there in your areas, getting into that type of water, but looks like that would certainly could go on that back end. So let me do some digging for you and be happy to share my thoughts. So I wish I had some better thoughts for you, but that's awesome. That looks good. Let's see here. And thank you thank you for the donation, by the way, Silver Stranger. You've always been incredibly generous with the donations and your support, telling everybody to give the thumbs up and hit that like button. Although I think it was Saint beat you to it today, but yeah, that's who it was. But I always appreciate that support and financial and thumbs up and comments and just joining me. So all right, so Doogie, welcome, Derek Doogie. Um, let's see, low sitting with yeah, that's hey, when you're doing that, yes, and again, that another reason I love this community is there's there may be some sarcasm, but there is there everything is with a friendly intent, and I think the intent is key. So made in Texas, 21. Let me make a note of that. So let's see, 10, 21 foot. So I can dive into that one specifically. Watching on both my phone. There you go. Um, greetings from the Rock. Oh, Newfoundland. That's awesome. Welcome. Um, well, it's yeah, you're right. That tri-hull design, I think there was a picture that had it better. That was our family's first boat, and that tri-hull gives you well, there we go. That that tri-hull gives you a very stable platform, and when you're fishing in, a foot of water, that's what you want. You want nice and stable so you can move around. But you're right. If you're in rough chop, it's gonna pound pretty good. It depends on what the I can't see what the transom looks like, and what that dead rise looks in the back. But if it's flat all the way through, which it probably is to keep that shallow draft, but that boat's not designed to run out in big heavy seas. It is designed to get into nice shallow water and be a super stable platform, and so that you can get where the fish are, or the fish that you want to get. And Silver Stranger, you're very welcome. Table Rock, I have not. We I grew up in Nebraska, and we would go to the Lake of the Ozarks, but we never ever went to Table Rock. We had, matter of fact, from the time I was 5 years old, we went there. I've been there every year. Well, every year of my life, skipping maybe 2 or 3 years when I started having kids, and we didn't make the trip back when I moved out to the Carolinas. But I bet from 5 years old to 25 years old. I was there every year for a week's vacation, but Derek, we never made it to Table Rock. It was always um, right by the Nangua Bridge in Sunrise Beach, Missouri, which is kind of up the lake, away from Osage, away from all the craziness and the big, huge boats. And we were on the little bit quieter side, on the 3 mile marker on the Little Nangua, just right by the Nangua Bridge, if you're familiar with it. So, all right, let's see here. Do dealers like brokering used boat, or is it something they just tolerate? 10% commission, pretty standard. Okay, so it depends. It depends on some dealers really like it. Some dealers just do it so they have access to boats. Some dealers love it because they're like, hey, it doesn't cost us anything, but it depends on your boat. So most dealers will say, if it's over 5 years old, if it's over 10 years old, if it's under this amount, then we're out. We don't want to deal with it because it's too likely there's issues. They may require it to run through their service department for inspections before they'll take it on, which is common from the better dealers, because they want to make sure they're representing a good product. 10% is the industry standard by far. So I want to sell my boat. I'll pay you 10%. And then depending on the size and the price of the boat, there may be, hey, we've got to run it through service and do compression check and pull the lower unit if it's a stern drive, drop the foot if it's an outboard. and we've got to do a complete inspection, check all the fluids, do the service if we recommend. It's time to do the oil changes, fluid changes, impeller. We're going to do all that work before we'll list it. That's what the better dealers do. And then they might also say, and we have a $2,500 minimum. So, $25,000 boats and higher, it's 10%. And anything under 25,000 in a sales price, that gets just a flat $2,500 fee. So that's the standard. And then you may also have, depending on the type of boat, their setup, you may have storage fees. So they may say, hey, we'll give you the first month for free, or, oh, my dogs are getting into it. They've been fighting over bones lately. Hopefully my wife, hang on one second. Are they good, sir? Molly, come. Sorry about that. I thought things were getting out of hand. But yes, that's the standard setup with maybe a minimum and then maybe a storage fee. They may give you a certain amount of time, but if it's a boat they think is going to be difficult to sell, they might have a storage fee per month, especially if it's in the water. If it's in the water, you're almost certainly going to have a storage fee unless they have just a ton of open slips. And the more hard to come by spaces at the dealership, the more likely they'll charge you something. They may even charge you a cleaning fee depending on what the boat is. Luger FO. I think I might be saying that right. But so hopefully that answers your question. If you have more specifics about you're on the, and then so seller pays that. Sell my boat for $100,000. They're going to take 10,000 out of the proceeds, and they'll cut a check to the bank if there's a bank, and then I'll get the rest of the proceeds less expenses is how they usually do it. If it's a boat that's difficult, they may say, no, we need the storage fee up front. So we'll let you do some of it out of the sale. But if there's service work to be done, if there's storage fees, they may require that to be paid when the service is rendered. And then that way, just in case the boat doesn't sell or something. And they also will say probably, and you can't use it. So yes, we'll list your boat, but you can't use it because if I have somebody that wants to see it, they just stop in. I don't want to not have the boat to show them, and you can't be out using it while we're trying to sell it for you. So if you want to sell it, it's ours, or not ours, but it stays here, and we're doing it all the time. Boatman, welcome from Iowa. Where at in Iowa are you? Like I said, I grew up in Nebraska, in Omaha, and so we were right on the Iowa border. As a kid, I did the seawater pump this past weekend. Never again. Truck diver. What drive do you have? Do you have a stern drive or an outboard? Let me know what you got. I'm curious. Down in Charleston, so you've got down near Shrim Creek. Okay, so I was just there. Hopefully you saw that video. So you've got an outboard probably, and I would guess, put money on that, you got a Yamaha. So you got to drop that foot. You got to get that all out of there, and it's a tight fit. So let's see. It's going to be a close race. It's going to be a close race. They both have that. And it depends. It really, the back of the boat, the flatter the back of the boat is you're going to feel it just a little bit more in most chop. But I remember that tri-haul. We would, all three of us kids, I'm the middle of three. I've got an older brother and a little sister. And we would stand up there or kneel up there and hold the bow rail like my daughter likes to do. She did it today. It was so rough out running home, and she'll take the dock line, tie it from the front cleat, and then stretch it over tight and do a cleat hitch. She knows how to do a cleat hitch at 8, and she'll tie a cleat hitch and she'll hold it so she's got like she's riding a Bronco. And that's what we used to do as kids. We'd sit up there. My dad somehow mounted aluminum post across the front to match both sides on that tri-hull, and we would sit up there and ride the waves. It was that was so much fun. But yeah, it was rough. When you're a kid, you don't care though. Um, let's see, Herb, do dealers like brokering boats? Just tolerated? Um, okay, so I think I got the first part of the question, but I didn't get the how much gets to the salesman. So it depends. When I was selling, the owner of the dealership I worked at tolerated brokerage. They had dry storage units at two of their six locations. They had a book of business. They'd been in business since the 70s, and they tolerated commissions. So we made 10%. We charged 10% with the minimum of 2,000. It got raised up to 2,500 after I left. And then we would make 20% of it, and then we would make 10% if we listed it, or maybe it was 5%. So you can make 25% if you did the buying and the selling. Okay. If you had brought in the listing and you sold the listing. Now, if you're at Marine Max or if you're at a big brokerage shop, the salesperson may get 50%. So it depends. And the bigger the boats, the more likely they get a bigger chunk. Because the you need to be at a little bit higher level. And I didn't know. This was my sales job, was my first job in the industry. So I didn't know what standard was. When I learned that most people were getting, closer to 50%, if not 50% on brokerage, I was like, holy crap. But the owner of our dealership tolerated brokerage. He said, why would I want to pay my salespeople to sell brokerage boats where I'm making 10%, where they could sell a used boat that we own, or they could sell a new inventory boat. Um, they could sell a new inventory boat that would have, maybe 22, 20, 15% commission or 15% margins versus 10%. And then, they just don't make as much money. And there's more liability with the brokerage, because if there's something that you don't discover and you don't disclose to the buyer that you should know, if I'm representing a brokerage boat, I should know if there's something wrong with it structurally, mechanically. And as the broker, there's precedent in law. There's a case down in Florida. There's a couple cases around the country that if they don't disclose it to the buyer, and even if they don't know about it, they should have known about it. And then the buyer has recourse against the dealer. So there's risk there as well for a smaller amount. And that's why some dealers tolerate it, but others say, hey, this is a great opportunity because I have zero carrying cost. I can get a little bit of service work for my service shop. I can maybe get some storage revenue. And I've got another boat that I wouldn't have if we didn't offer this. So, yeah, I just had to run and check on my dogs were going, were getting into it over a bone, I'm sure. But the hardest boat to sell, well, it depends on the area. So couple of things that are difficult is selling a brand that's unknown in the area. It's really interesting. Rinker used to be a great brand. Rinker had pockets of the country where they killed it. Everybody knew Rinker. Down in the Texas area, Rinker was big. Some areas in the Midwest, Rinker was big. Then you go into other areas and nobody knew it. Really nice boat, well made, good reputation in parts of the country, but totally unknown in others. Or you've got a boat like Centurion that started in the West Coast. They dominated in the West Coast, but as they expanded east, nobody knew Centurion wake boat. Now they're dominant. Now they're known nationwide. They probably have an international presence as well, but a brand that's unknown in that region, that's difficult to sell. Another thing that's difficult to sell is a style of boat that's somewhat out of place. So an aluminum fishing boat here in the South, the closer you get to the coast, the harder and harder aluminum like a walleye boat, like a Lund or a Low or a Polar Craft or something like that, difficult to sell out of that area because people, they're just like, what, why wouldn't I get a fiberglass boat? Why wouldn't I have a center console even? Those are difficult. Other boats that are difficult to sell, colors. So when it comes to bow riders, yellow boats are probably, yellow and orange are the two most difficult colors to sell. Black, white, and like navy, tan, are the easiest, because if I see a boat, I just saw my buddy out today in his new, he bought an '07 23-foot Chaparral bow rider that was black. Looked beautiful. I told him, it was an '07. I'm like, this could pass as a 2019. It looked sharp. Um, and the color, and if it looks dated, that can sometimes hurt depending on the price point. But nobody's not going to buy a boat because it's black or because it's navy or because it's white. But somebody won't buy a boat because it's yellow. Somebody won't buy a boat because it's red. And I'm talking bow rider, fiberglass specifically is where it's really prevalent. But even on the pontoons now, on some of them that have crazy graphics, those can be difficult to sell as well. So if you want good, easy resale, just go with a basic color that nobody's going to look at that and say, "Oh my God, I don't want that." Everything else could be perfect, but that color is going to turn it off. Just a common standard black, navy, white, even like the tan and the creams. Hey, nobody's going to walk away from a boat because it's that color, but red, yellow, and orange, they will. I'm trying to think of what else, that's not, just the what you would think deferred maintenance and project boat kind of stuff. But those are, I would say those are the big ones. Another big one can be a trailerable boat that doesn't have a trailer. So that's why my buddy got the Chaparral he did. He bought it down in Georgia, and bought it down in Atlanta, like 4 hours away. It didn't have a trailer. It's a 23-foot, $30,000 boat. Well, that boat, most people aren't going to spend 3 to 4 grand a year to put it in dry stack. Most people that are going to buy that boat don't live on the water. They're going to trailer that boat because it's less expensive to trailer. So when you get to a certain point with a trailerable size boat and there's no trailer, he would have to buy a $30,000 boat and put it on you know, a dual axle, probably, 6,900 pound trailer, which is going to be 6-7 grand. So that's a big chunk to add to the boat for, in people's minds, just a trailer. Now he was going to dry stack it, so it didn't matter. He paid $1,000 to have it transported up, and he's happy as could be. But there's a lot of people that like, no, I need a trailer, can't find one, especially right now. Don't want to. Yeah, I think I can get a used one for 2 grand. Not going to happen. Is it going to fit? If you haven't watched my trailer, how to buy a used trailer, there's fitting and matching things that you need to know about. Not all boats will fit all trailers, even if it's the right weight. And then, it's more expensive than people think. So those are a couple, Silver Stranger. Hopefully that answers your question there. All right, let's see. YK, welcome. Having trouble getting rid of old fiberglass boat. 21-foot IO area dump site told me to remove all the metal part. Yeah. Donation didn't work either. YK, send me a message. Send me an email to captain@boatbuyer's secret weapon. Tell me what specifically you have and tell me where you're located. And if I have a connection that I can put you in touch with to steer you in the right direction, I will do that. I don't know for sure, and just an answer that I can give you, but those two pieces of information, the type of boat and motor, and the year, make, model, all that stuff, and where you're located, and I might, no promises, but I might be able to share something. So let's see here. That was YK. And just mention that you're YK on the thing, so I know. Merkers is a Bravo 3. Really? On the 240 Sun Deck truck driver or truck diver. Um, those are is it might be the access, actually getting to it. But I didn't those Bravo 3s are a little bit easier to get to. But it all depends if there's not access, it is difficult. Herb, no problem. No problem at all. I'm glad I saw it because I didn't see the second part with the sales, what the salesperson makes on it. So, um, good to have you so far down at the bottom. There you go. 51, 90 degrees in South Carolina. Yeah, it amazed me. When I first started selling boats, walking into the shop, we had 6 bays in our store, and it was air conditioned and heated, which is uncommon in the industry. Most of them they're just, hey, good luck to you. Go out there. And all you would walk in at any time and you would see just legs sticking up, poking out, they're on their belly and they're crawling through things, and they're down at the docks and they just ran it and things are hot. It's yeah, it is. You got to be very, very flexible, very comfortable, just flailing around and getting burned, and then know what the heck you're doing too. A good tunnel haul. Looking for something small for less than 80 outboard. I don't know much about tunnel hauls, Saint. That is I've never run one. I take that back. I've run the Bayliner Rendezvous. I guess that's technically a tunnel haul. But that's like a 26-foot. They were just trying to get as much space as they could on that thing. And they came up with the tunnel haul design. It was a super, super popular boat, but it took a special trailer. They sucked up water, and the way they built them, the holes get really, really heavy at times. But Saint, send me an email, and I'll see if I can find anything, an article or something that might be good. That'll give me a good chance to go down the rabbit hole researching, and I'll send you anything that looks interesting. All right, so Charlie, for new boaters, buying the boats like picking the game piece on the board is the start. Yes. Huck. So Huck sent me a message. Let's see if I can pull it up here. Let's see if I can do this without putting his so this was, let's see if we can, there we go. So this was Huck's. He sent me this. Charlie is his official name, but he's up in Minnesota, and this was a picture he sent out. Maiden voyage, I think. I'm almost certain it was the very first time out, and he invested in the Trailer Like a Pro. I don't know if he did the best boat captain training or not, but he was out on his boat for the first time this weekend, and started in a river where it was a little bit challenging from his message, with a lot of current, with some wind. Got into the part that opened up a little bit more, and let's see, this is another good shot. And had his first time out, which was, I don't know, Hux, would you say more challenging than you expected, or just challenging conditions? And he also sent me a message 2 or 3 months ago with all of the gear that he bought. So you buy your first boat. For you guys that haven't taken delivery or haven't bought your first boat, hey, we're going to buy a boat. You research, you get excited about the boats, you buy the boats. If it doesn't show up yet, or even when it does, you've got dock lines, fenders, life jackets, safety equipment, fire extinguishers, whistles, knives, VHF radios, maybe some flares or things like that, first aid kits. You got all this stuff to buy, and then you're like, oh, that's cool. There's a tube, and there's this, and there's that gadget, and there's this gadget, and there's all sorts of things. And then there's, how do I do it? How do I actually drive this boat? How do I put it on the dock? How do I put it on the trailer? How do I go through a bridge? And you get nervous when you start doing these new things. But what's cool is, in my mind, it opens up a whole new world for you. And every time you add something to the piece, water sports, going on a trip, going, down the river, up the river, to the coast, through a lock, doing this style of boat, going to this restaurant, that restaurant. Every time you do something new, it opens up a new world for you that you start building those skills and you get those experiences, and it just keeps going and going and going. And I've been doing it for 40 plus years, and have had the opportunity. I live close enough to the coast that's a whole new world. Some things there. You start fishing and there's new worlds there. And it's just, you're right. It's just the beginning. And, but it is to me, it's pretty incredible. And let's see here. I see we got I need to shut up a little bit. Learning how to keep the twin engines balanced and low speed maneuverability. Those are Hux has a twin engine jet boat. I want to say it's the 25 foot Yamaha jet boat. And there should be, if I remember right, is there a sync setting on that throttle where you can set the sync, and then as you advance them forward, it's almost like it's one unit. It keeps them exactly synced. You might have that setting on there, and then using your low speed docking mode, going into that, and it'll take some time. And it's something that the twin engine jet version of the best boat captain will come. But my advice to you is, run them as singles for right now, get really comfortable with that, and then start splitting them. And your maneuverability. Okay, 21 SX. Okay, I don't know why I had 25 in my head. The 21 SX, you'll get really comfortable. But a lot of times, even when I drove the twins on the 24s, I just used it as a single throttle and used my regular steering inputs, because the thrusters are so close together. They give you the directional a little bit, but it's not like, and they're little nozzles. It's not like the big outboard, or the big inboard, I should say, big brass prop that are spread way apart, and they really give you that directional control. Okay, interesting. I didn't know only the no wake would sync. Um, Interesting. All right. So what else do we got here? Hux, we've got Brian again. Dealer attitudes about brokering may have shifted in the recent market given the lack of new inventory. Yeah, Brian, I should have said that for sure. The hey, I just need a boat to sell, and I'll open up my brokerage opportunities. I think a lot of dealers did that. A lot of dealers were buying used boats that normally wouldn't, and say, "Hey, we'll give you cash for your boat," so that they can bring it in. And then with that, they started taking brokerage opportunities. And there was also some guys that ran service departments that said, "Hey, we can sell our customers boats," and they started doing some brokering in states where you didn't need licensing, and you didn't need anything um, other than a boat to sell. So you're exactly right, and hopefully that contracts and all that stuff. But what's the best type of boat for primarily the lake? Now again, offshore, family of five, fishing, sandbar hopping, used under 60. Tell me, James, how old are the kids, and where are you, on the East Coast, West Coast, up north, down south? Let me know specifically what bodies of water, like what lake and where on the coast you would be, because that might make a difference a little bit. My gut tells me I start leaning towards center consoles, but not necessarily, especially the more occasional fishing, a dual console, something like let's see here what I can find. Ah, where is that window? There we go. dual console. Let's do just a Key West. Something like this could be a decent setup. This is set up more for just family cruising, but I like these styles for the occasional fishing. As long as you have a bench in the back here that you can lay down, or you've got enough access on the gunnel, that's going to be good. Again, depending on the lake, depending on where you're at, um, the size. I would make a recommendation on the size based on that information. But that's a nice setup. You're fine going offshore a little bit in the right conditions. It's made for that. The fishing, not perfect, but you've got some rod holders. And Key West is just, I knew they had one that would be about right. There's tons of different brands that you could choose from. It's got the outboard, so when you are in saltwater, you're good to go. And some of the models are more set up for fishing than others, but I would start looking at that. And then they're also just the standard center console, which is going to be a little bit more fishing. But when you put 5 on it, you're 24-foot. You got 2 at the leaning post. You've got 2 up in the bow. This seat right here, if you can, let me go big screen on that. This part right here, you can get another person, but it's not, a super comfortable seat. You've got the seating back here on the bench. Again, that bench is going to flip flop up or down so that you can have access when you're fishing. You've got live wells. One of those two is probably where I would lean, James. And again, let's see if you chimed in with a little bit more. Oh my gosh, we got comments coming all over the place. Okay, 3-year-old, couple of teenagers, Central Florida, chain of lakes. All my buddies go offshore. Yeah, I really like, for me personally, that dual console feels like a good fit. And if you just go, let's see, boattrader.com. I mean, for 60 grand, I would say down in Florida, a 24 is probably a good size for you. I'm not sure if you would be trailering or not, but that's a easily trailerable boat. Um, Come on, give me dual console. Dual console used. And yeah, there's a Grady that looked like a new one. There's a 2019 Key West, 64,000. So that puts you in a newer boat. That's up in New York, but Nautic Star is a kind of a mid-level. Um, 2019 Key West, 65,000. So that might be a good spot to start looking. And I think that would probably do most of what you're looking at. Again, center console is another one that's easily fits what you're looking to do if you find the right layout that does the family stuff that you want to do. Sandbar hopping for sure is great. The center console is going to be great going offshore. And 24 allows you to go offshore. Just pay attention to the weather, as you should with any boat, even if you're going out in a 40-footer. Pay attention to the weather. Let's see, the deck boat. Yeah, I don't like the deck boat when you're going offshore. I don't like anything that doesn't have the scuppers where water comes in, it just flows out. I don't want to be relying on a bilge pump if I do get stuck in some mess. I want something that's going to, if it take a wave over the bow or I stuff it or something, that water is just going to naturally flow out and I don't have to count on my bilge pump. Um, I did this video. Let's see if I can find it here. Um, I did this video a couple weeks ago, bow rider versus dual console, and that might be a good one to watch where I talk why I lean towards that dual console in these situations. And yeah, the fish when you start adding fishing stuff, they can definitely get up in price for sure. Um, thank you, email you, perfect. All right, perfect. Can you mount a fuel water separator horizontally? No, you cannot. So it works like this. Gravity. Gravity is gonna do your thing. So you want it to that fuel to flow through, and it's got an inner strainer kind of thing, and it's gonna the gravity is gonna pull the debris, and the water is heavier than fuel, so that's all gonna fall, and then the fuel will flow through. If that makes sense. So you do have to mount it in that straight up position. Um, Tried to get rid of my old bass boat for years. Finally restored it. um, You don't have to work that hard on it. Just try to branch out a bit. I'm not sure what that was, but um, let's see about them making them offshore. A little scary. Yeah, that's my thought on it too. Is the bow rider? When I say bow rider and deck boat, I think I think Sea Ray, Chaparral, Bayliner, Cobalts, Regals, all great boats. But I people do it for sure, but I don't think about taking those offshore. And for a lot of the reason is the bilge pump that gets me nervous, but also just the straight up design of it, the comfort and the plushness, the higher gunnels, the more flare up in the bow, the more freeboard in the right spots, all of that. Local dealer here in Annapolis, 15% perform service. Yeah, there's some that say, hey, listen, especially if they have a good reputation in the area, they'll say, we'll do it for you, but we're going to take more, and we're only going to represent the best of the best. We're not going to represent anything that has mechanical issues, again, because of that recourse precedent that is out there. And they're so that's not uncommon. There's a lot of competition in Annapolis. There's a lot of brokers in that area. And so to do 15%, that's kind of what their way of saying, we'll do it, but we're going to get paid if we're going to do it. And we're very strict. And my guess is they're very strict on what they take in, and they're very strict on how they take things in. Um, yeah, center console, and even the center consoles will have the ski pylon, like Saint said, is you'll find that you can put the ski pylon or the some towing point on them in like a Key West or a who else has a good dual console that would fit that bill. I mean, most of them make it. I think Sea Hunt has one. Um, Most of them will have a dual console, but and you'll usually be able to mount on the dual console or the center console some sort of a pylon. Learn how to keep the twin ends balanced. That was the jet boat conversation that we had. Anthony, welcome. How you doing? Your question got cut off there, so um, re-put that in if you haven't. Tom from Facebook, welcome, Tom, on Facebook. Glad to have you. Thank you. The trailer boat video that we released the other day. Expensive trailer boating mistakes at the boat ramp. That just came out. 300,000 center console running all over the state of Florida. No trailer straps. Yeah, it blows my mind that people don't take the 2 seconds it takes to put the straps on, and it's just it's a must in my mind. It's an absolute must to put those trailer straps on. The boat buckle. I know Brock, who's on here, has those on his, and we talked about them last week a little bit. But I did a video and talked to the guys at down at IBEX down in Tampa, the International Boat Builder Expo down in Tampa in October. The guys that were repping those, and it's just, they're so easy, it's so convenient, and man, it could really save your butt in the right situation. So, um, yeah, the James Pennington, the center console, you're starting to see them more and more on the lakes, but those Central Florida lakes, there's I know a dealer that sold Skeeter down in a little northern Florida, but a lot of their clients that bought the Skeeters were going to lakes more in Central Florida, and they said there was a big distinct difference between the freshwater fisher guys and the saltwater guys, and they didn't like to cross over much. So the freshwater guys were really bass boats, which is the perfect setup, but you're not going to take a bass boat on the bay even. It's just not the right setup for it. It's going to end poorly for you. But the center consoles are really, even Lake of the Ozarks, where my family has a cabin, totally landlocked, the middle of the U.S., and you're starting to see center consoles make their way on that lake, and which really shocked me the first couple times I started seeing them. But it does work. It does work. It's not ideal for the bass fishermen and the really hardcore, but if it's occasional fishing, like you said, I think that center console does well. I think that dual console does even better for the family portion of it, the comfort portion of it. So, all right, Anthony, here we go. I would recommend a twin engine boat, especially to new boat owners. Maneuverability is a lot better. Yeah, it's when you have the twins, you have one more additional way to control your boat. So in the best boat captain, you can spin a single engine in its length, and you can do it in a short period of time. If you follow my instructions, or you get with a good local captain that's on your boat and they know how to teach, you can learn how to do that in a very short period of time. Now, you put me on a 38 footer, and I can get somebody to spin that boat in the length in about 2 seconds. But you've got double maintenance, you've got more fuel expense, you've got a bigger boat. So you're not going to put twins on anything, 30 foot and smaller on the cruiser style, on a stern driver, an inboard. On the jet boats, it's different. 21 and up, you're usually going to have twins, but yeah, there's other things that go into it besides just maneuverability. But yeah, running an inboard twin engine boat it's amazing how much control you have over it until it gets windy. And then you're like, oh crap. You'll get blown around a bunch, and you're like, I need a bow thruster now. But it does make a difference for sure. 3-year-old teenagers. All right, we got James. I think James, if you have more questions, James, feel free to throw it in there. But I think um I think we got you on a good direction anyway. Um Makes amazing center. Yeah, Everglades is one of the best. They're fantastic in that center console line. Bigger deck boats, yeah. All right, Ray, per your advice, I bought the handheld weather alert box anchor. Anchor will be here Tuesday. Now I think I'm ready. So Ray's in Indiana, and we were talking anchors, and I don't know when that was, but there's also a video about the best boat gear. I think we turned Ray onto the other day in one of the lives, and yeah, there's always stuff to get, especially when you first get started, and then you sort of settle into the things that you really like, and always trying new things. You'll never be done if you don't want to be furnishing your boat and equipping your boat. There's always something new you can do. But yeah, it sounds like you're in the right. Oh, where do we go? Sounds like you're on the right track to get out there. And I'm glad that the weather's warming up for you there in Indiana, and you're hitting the water. Yeah, James, the Brock's got that 24-foot center console. The Masters um, Brock is also a serious freshwater fisherman. He has a bass boat as well and fishes bass boat tournaments. So if he says, hey, that center console would do really, really well and do great offshore, he's got the experience on both sides. And one of the reasons, Brock, I'll maybe share, try not to get too into anything, but his his family, he said, I want to get the family out on the water more. I'm fishing these tournaments and have that with my dad, but now I've got kids of my own, and have a early teenager. Um, let's let's get a bigger boat that the whole family can enjoy. I can bring the wife and the kids, and we can put 5, 9 people on it and really have a good time. He's in Charleston, but has that freshwater and fishing experience. So I think, and I would say, Brock, would you say that 24 feet, that 24-foot range is probably a good size as well? I think based on our conversations and your comments in past lives, I think you're pretty happy with the 247. And Sportsman's another great one. I don't know if Sportsman does a dual console or not. No, doesn't look like they do. Unless the Heritage. I don't think the Heritage is. No. Yeah. So, um, yeah, James, you're very welcome, and it's why I love this community, because it's not just me rambling, which I'll do, but everybody else has additional experience. Should I know the answer to it? What exactly is the pitch of a prop? What is more? Okay, so prop pitch is how far would that propeller go if it was screwing into a hard surface in one rotation. So it's got blades on it, but it's just like a screw. The twin screws, they'll call it sometimes. So in one full rotation, a 21 inch, a 21 pitch prop will go 21 inches through that surface. Now, there's slippage because you're in water. It's not a solid surface. So a full rotation, you're not going to go a full 21 inches, but you might go 20 or 19 and a half or whatever it is. So the larger the pitch, the faster that boat will go once you get up on plane and get going. It's gonna go through the water at 5,000 RPMs. It's gonna go a further distance through the water every rotation. So 5,000 rotations, it's going to go faster in a straight line. Okay. But the problem is, it's not going to be, if it gets too big, it's not going to be able to start turning unless there's enough torque to turn it. So it's going to be slower to get up on plane, but it's going to be faster once you're up on plane, and over the long haul. The smaller pitch, so a 19 pitch, it's only going to go 19 inches in full rotation through a solid object. Slippage, it might go 18, 18 and a half, 17 and a half, whatever. But it's going to get up to speed faster because it can turn through with less torque, with less power. So it's going to get up on plane quicker. But it's probably not going to have it won't have as fast of a top end speed, because at 5,000 RPMs, it's only going a little bit less than 19 inches per rotation, if that makes sense. So, and then I did a video on this, and I really need to remake that video because I misspeak at one point in it. I misspeak at the very end. I say it right a couple of times, and at the end, when I'm not going off my notes, I say it wrong. I flip flop it, and I really need to remake that one. But hopefully that explains it for you, Saint. How do you deal with wakes from large cabin cruisers and just run them? So that yeah, it's hard. I was out on Lake Norman today, which is our bigger lake in our area, and I was running a 24-foot chaparral on a stern drive. I'm on the trim, so we were running faster than I normally would, trying to get back to the marina before the storm hit. And there are some cruisers going by, and it's a dammed up river, so it's not really narrow channels, but you're running in a channel, and they're coming this way, or I'm out running them, and so you're hitting those waves at a bad angle. Couple of things you can do on your boat. I don't think that SX has any trim at all. So you're at a disadvantage there. But if you can hit them at the right speed is probably the first thing I'll say. Which means slowing down a little bit. And then it okay. So this is hard to I'm trying to figure out how the right way to explain this is, because it depends also if you're going away from the wave or the waves coming into you, if that makes sense. So if it's the waves coming at you, or if the waves going away. But what you want to do is kind of a 45-degree angle, but there's some situations where you're best off hitting it at a 90, just off a 90, and letting your V hull slice through it a little bit. It depends on the situation. It depends on the size of the wave. It depends on how fast you're going. I'm trying to figure out the right way to explain this, because without the trim, it's going to be, let's see. I had this question the other day in a comment, and I kind of gave a halfway answer, but okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to go at it. And if the waves going away from you, which means you're going to try to hit it with your bow up as much as you can and just get over the top of it. If the wave's coming towards you, the crest is coming at you, then you're going to try to go straight on in that 90 degrees, and you just try to pop over it. If you've got a bunch of them, you can move the weight to the back. But if it's just, hey, that cruiser went by, a 40-foot cruiser went by, it's just going to be a matter of slowing down is really the right answer. Slow down and then run at a nose high attitude, where because you can't use your trim, run at that nose high attitude, maybe 2000 RPM, something where you've got some speed up, but you're not up on plane yet. If they're really big, it's really a situational thing where there's a couple different variables where you're going to do it different ways in different situations. Really big, slow it down, and hit it straight on. What you got to watch out for is if it's going away from you and that crest has really spread out, you can hit it, and if you don't time it right, you can stuff your nose in a little bit, hull over inlet style. But that's when there's a big one goes by, and it's not a wake coming right at you, but it's just a big roller, that can kind of catch you off guard. You don't really see it. I don't feel like this is a very direct answer, because there's too many situational things. Um, but those are a couple of thoughts just real quick off the cuff. It's almost where I'm at the point, and I've got to remember this at times, that sometimes I just get in a situation and I do what comes natural, but I don't think about why I do it and how I do it specifically. And this is one of those situations where it's so situational that I'll do different things each time, because this changes or that changes. So I'm not happy with my answer there, Hux. I apologize on that, but those are some of the things to think about, and just pay attention to how your boat reacts as well. As a 21 footer, you can take some waves, but there's some that I was on, like I said, I was on a 24-foot today, and man, there were some big ones that I just hit wrong. And it was windy, there was chop, there was some white caps when we were running back, and I just hit it wrong because I didn't read that this wave was going to hit this wave, and boom, my daughter's butt was sore up in the front. But just pay attention to how your boat reacts in different situations and try those different things that I talked about. If it's really big, slow down, go bow high. If it is coming at you, try to go 90 into it. If it is the big roller, just make sure that you're keeping your nose up as much as you can, and that you're not. This is a mistake that some people make, is they hit that first one and then they pull back on the throttle. Well, what happens when you pull back on the throttle is you hit that first one, boom, you go into the second one, you pull back the throttle, and now your nose drops down, and boom, now you submarine into that. So that's when the big rollers, when the boat goes by on the other side of the channel, you don't really pay much attention to it because it's far away, but that big roller just keeps on coming at you, and those can get you too. So let me try to figure out the best way to explain that. Maybe that's a video if I can set that situation up. Um, yeah, quarter and 45 degrees is another one. Yeah, in the bass boat for sure. You don't even have that deep V to help you out. Um, so all right. Hux, I feel like you deserve a much better answer than what you just got. But let me see if I can come up with a more succinct way to talk about the different situations that you're going to be in and the right thing to do. But hopefully that was at least get you somewhere. Okay, so 24 to 26, James, that's back to you. Is a great size for his. I think he has 5 as well. One of them's an early teen, 2 younger ones, a wife, and then some friends that come along every now and again as well. Um, yeah, and still only drafting 16 inches. That's pretty good. I didn't realize they were that shallow of a draft. I run FLIR radar. People running no. um, yeah, Anthony. I don't remember who it was. Um, the box anchor is one that I was like, no, just use a Danforth. You're fine. I've been talking about that. I did a video on it. In my best boat captain, in my anchoring section, in the Boating Fun Amplifier Toolkit, I say, hey, this is all you need. But I'm going to do my test, and I'm becoming a box anchor convert from just so many people having good experiences with them. And doesn't have to be set perfectly. Just get it out there, and it's going to hold, which is good. Which is good. All right, perfect. James, I think you got some really good stuff tonight. Um, sustainability, welcome. Just picked up $1,000 worth of accessories. Can't wait. That's awesome. Um, uh, let's see, what did sustainability get? Shoot. I don't know why I forgot, but he just took delivery of his boat not too long ago, and getting out later this week. That's awesome. Congratulations, man. And it's like Huck said, there's the boat, you think we're in. You're like, oh, you're just getting started. The game's just starting, and there's all sorts of adventures and expenses and things waiting for you. All right, chasing serenity. I like that name. Question: what about to buy an 2,293 twin pentas, 35 thoughts? Okay, so Cobalt, great brand. Great brand. The Volvo Pentas in 2000, solid engines. There's nothing I know about them that like, oh, you need to be nervous about it. The XDP, I don't think was there yet, so you're good. So there's no way it's got that. With that said, it's a 20-year-old boat, okay? So it's more about chasing serenity. It's more about the condition of that boat that you're looking at. How well has it been taken care of? Has it been left in the water? What's the condition of the drives? What service did they do? It's low hours, which is good on one hand if they kept up on the service. It's bad on the other hand if they put 300 hours in it in the first 5 years and then 45 hours on it in the next 15 years. So low hours is good overall. as long as the maintenance was done on the right intervals and it never just sat for, excuse me, for a period of time. So if you haven't, get this toolkit, go through that, use the checklists. If you haven't, go to the Boat Buyer Secret Weapon channel and watch used one of the how to buy a used boat. You could watch the cruiser because that 293 is going to have some cruiser aspects to it. But you can also watch how to buy the used bow rider. Um, and maybe even both of those. But there's gonna be some things that I say that will make you think, oh yeah, I need to open this compartment. I haven't even looked in there yet. I need to really get into the bilge and check what's down there. I don't think you're probably going to have a generator on that. You might. 2002 Cobalt. Um, I'm just going to pull up here. Yeah, sustainability. If you email it to me, just email it to me at captain at Boat Buyer Secret Weapon. I'd love to see them. Oh, so this is a full on cruiser. Okay. Cobalt didn't make a ton of cruisers. They are cutties. Um, they did in this era though. They were making some. So, but watch both the cruiser and the cutty or the cruiser and the bow rider version. But there's going to be some things that you want to make sure that you inspect because let's see here. I lost my place. Um, because there's a lot of systems on that boat and they're 20 some years old. So you want to run through them all. And that's going to be the most important thing. But as far as the brand, you're fine there. It's more about how well did that owner or the previous owners, because there's probably multiple, take care of that boat. Did it sit in the water for long periods of times? Did they change their gear lube and oil and impeller? Have they done the other services that need to be done after 20 years? Was it in salt water ever? Those are the things that when you go through these videos, you'll find those what to look for, and also the toolkit will keep you looking. Yeah. So all right, sustainability. If I would love to see a picture of it. Yeah, and if you want, Saint, thanks for saying that. Um, I did this video. Our Cobalt's the best. And, in my opinion, they're one of the top. I would probably put Formula in they don't start making smaller boats. I think they're 24 is where they start at. So you start getting bigger with them. But Cobalt's 1 and 2, depending on if you want to throw Formula in there, in my opinion. And this is the boat right there that R5 is the boat my father-in-law has, and I'm get to run that when we're at their lake place in Tennessee. So a solid, I mean, it's rock solid feel to the boat. You can just tell that it's well built. You just feel it in your feet when you're running over rough chop. So Hux, you're welcome. You're welcome. You deserve better though. You've been here long enough. You deserve better. There's one kind of Volvo compound in it, money pit. Yeah. Yeah. That's the XDP drive. And if you check out, let's see here. Don't buy a boat with these engines or drives. If you check out that video or this video, do not buy these 8 boats. That will show you what the drive looks like so that that you can see. But there's that 2000, there's no way that's on there. So you're good. Always wanted to be a credit card captain. Thanks so Matt. I'm beyond that. That's the qualified captains, the credit card captains, the boat fails. that my goal is not to shut those channels down because some of them are pretty good. But my goal is anybody that watches my channel never ends up on that channel. And my biggest nightmare, Ray, my biggest nightmare is that I do something stupid and boneheaded, which I will do at some point, and then I end up on one of those channels, and then everything I did is just it's out the window. So, but yeah, hopefully the trainings I keep people that have found our world, keep them off the credit card captain and the qualified captain. Never hit a wake on your side. Yeah, yeah, Anthony, I should have mentioned that as well. There's when you take it directly on the side, that's when you really get rocking and rolling, especially if it comes from that back quarter. Then you're not only are you rolling, but you're pitching and rolling, and that can really get out of hand. So um and that's why I said the situational part of it, because where's it coming from? What's the distance between the crests? And is it awake? Like when I say awake, like it just came off the boat and it's on you, or is it a roller where it came from on the other side of the lake and now it's finally making it to you? And those bigger boats, especially up where you are, on the rivers up there in Minneapolis, they can put off some big ones. So that great addition. Thank you for sharing that, Anthony. Um, a Bennington. Okay, the QX. Did you maybe send me a picture of that? No, that's JD's. Um, yeah, I don't see that I've got one from you, but yeah. So I love getting pictures of people on their boat. With the delivery, I think the day you take your boat or the first run, is some of the first outings. Those are some of the best pictures to me because I know the whole world that's opening up to you, and the fun that you're going to have. Okay, awesome. So if it's got um, yeah, pay, it could have a Volvo, it could have a Mercruiser. The Mercruiser is a Bravo 3, but just check it, and again, go through those videos and you'll be on the right track. Seller, what kind of drive? Yeah, that all matters as well. You're chasing Serenity. You're welcome, Saint. Thanks for bringing up those points. I wouldn't even have thought about the composite drive. Um, you need to come out Thursday bass tournament. Um, I've always seen most of the bass guys I see are pretty competent at backing in. Usually when I'm out, they're the guys that they tow their boat to the job site and they'll go fish for 2 hours before they head home or something like that. And they're at the ramp anytime. But I can only imagine that with the 100 plus, that there's some crazy shenanigans that happen. Daniel Larson, welcome. Bought a 94 19 Sunbird OMC, my first boat, one owner, 30 years. Awesome. That's keep up on that OMC drive. If 94, hopefully that's the Cobra. I'm pretty sure it will be, and you'll be in good shape. But yeah, keep up the good maintenance. I think the number one issue with boats, if you were to track it back, is people don't do the right maintenance. You can talk about the force outboard and the OMC stringer drive and the all of the issues of the motors of people that say Mercury's junk, Yamaha's junk, Suzuki's junk, Volvo's junk, Mercruiser's junk, whatever, Honda's junk. I think if you were to track back their issue, 95% of the time it comes to they didn't maintain their boat when they had it, or somebody before them didn't maintain that motor when they had it. And they did something dumb to it. It started having issues. And now it's the brand that's bad and not taking care of them poorly. Um, It's only that one or two that you need. That makes everybody talks about it. Yeah, OMC was bought by um well, I should say this. Volvo bought some of the intellectual property for OMC, and then the Cobra drive specifically. But what was it? They 2000, yeah, 2000. They ultimately went under, but at that point they'd sold off the Evinrude Johnson to sold off that part, and so they were getting rid of everything in their technology. So you're right on the money. Okay, good. It's a Cobra. Awesome. All right. Well, we're come. Holy crap! We're over an hour and 20 minutes now. Well, this was a fun one. This was awesome. Thank you guys all for joining. If you've got a couple of last minute questions, go ahead and throw them in there. I'm going to do my quick little commercials here. We've got the Boater Boot Camp and the Boat Buyers Toolkit. If you're shopping for a boat, you don't have your boat yet, the Boat Buyers Toolkit, you can grab that for free at Boater Secret Weapon, and it's a 25-page downloadable PDF that looks something like this. It comes with it's just chock full of checklists, questions to ask, and things like that. Boat, motor, trailer, we cover it all in there. It'll keep you on track. There's some videos that go with it, cost of ownership calculator, and it's free. You'll get it. Boater Boot Camp, if you're a newer boat owner, and there's just so many new things. We've talked about it. There's so many new things that come with when you're a boater. And so I made a 3-part video series for newer boaters that talks about just the basics of boating. What do all the switches on your helm do? What do you need to look at the motor? What's the maintenance stuff you need to consider? Then we go into navigation and how to drive your boat a little bit, rules of the road, I'll call it. And we cover that in a 20-minute video. Go, just this and think about that and know this, and just so that you're aware. Try to open up your awareness of the things I don't know. I try to minimize that. And then the last one is how to avoid emergencies, and how to handle emergencies if they do come up, fires, VHF radios, things like that. Another long video that's totally free as well. Boaterbootcamp.com. If you're on Facebook, you probably have seen some ads, or you may have seen some ads. I appreciate you folks that have liked it and shared it, and kind of give that extra reach as we're trying to get the message out on there. And then we've got the Boater Boot Camp is going to just teach you what you don't know about boating and being a boat owner. The best boat captain on the water, the single engine stern drive, and the pontoon version are going to teach you how to get total control of your boat, how to operate your boat, put it in the dock, side dock, slip, tie it up, do all that. And there's some other programs, Trailer Like a Pro, Tow Water Sports with Confidence, the Amplifier Toolkit, where we get into some other details of just other stuff that you'll do as a boater. And then the First Time Boat Buyer Academy. If you're buying a boat, you want to make sure you get the right one. First of all, that's the key. Make sure you get the best price. We've got some negotiation strategies, buying from a dealer and private seller, and they all come with my personal Happy Boater 100% money back guarantee. If you're not happy for any reason, ask for a refund and you got it. No questions asked. That's just how I've chose to do it. So, all right, perfect. Last couple questions. Awesome. That don't you have a million subs? Well, listen, this whole thing all started in January of 2019. So it was sort of a testing ground for some videos, and I was trying some things. Then the pandemic hit, and I actually started focusing on it and making better content and more of it, and really started enjoying it. So it's been growing, it's been growing pretty good. But I told my daughter I'm gonna when I get my silver play button when we get to 100,000 subscribers, and she's excited about that. So we'll go there first and then go to 1 million. So you guys keep hitting those like buttons and commenting and sharing these videos. We'll get there, Saint. Ray, thanks for joining us. Congratulations on getting out. Hope you loved it. And know anyone that runs the latch that replaces the bow roller on the trailer? Do you know anyone that runs the latch that replaces the bow roller on the trailer? I don't. I know what you're talking about now that I read it for the second time. Where you drive it up and it just almost snaps your bow eye right in. I don't. Couple of the landing Thursday. That does sound interesting. Let me put that. Let's see here. Let me put that site in. Oh, I've not even seen it in person. Um, but I will check that out, Brock. That's interesting. Um, and it just clips you right in. That's a really interesting concept. New boat owner need to know about personal property taxes. It's all about your state. It's state specific. Some have them, some don't. Um, some it's based on where you keep the boat, and if you're moored there for a period of time, 6 months, then you owe it in that area. I know South Carolina had that where guys would store it. Charleston, I know was notorious for this. They would leave it in Charleston for 5.5 months, then they would run it down to Florida and keep it there for a little while and then bring it back up. But it all depends on your particular state. So if you type in personal property tax boat in your state, you'll find it. It'll show up. And I did I do a video? I don't think I've done a video on this, and I don't know. True cost of boating. Yeah, I don't have any even thing that I could direct you to. I talk about it in this True Cost of Boating in the US Boat Expo. I talk about it could be you may have to pay it, but you'll have to check with your local state and Anthony, your county as well. I know California does it by county. If you are Anthony, where are you? I didn't know I'd be paying. Okay, yeah, so you're in South Carolina, so you know that it is can add up here for sure. But I talk about it in the Boat Expo, True Cost of Boating. I talk about it in the companion video that comes free with the toolkit. I talk about it there as well, because it's one of those things that sneaks up on it. Okay, by county too. I didn't realize it was different by county as well. Um, New boaters don't have the boat bankruptcy on a trailer. Break out another thousand. Yeah. That it hopefully it's the good kind, Ray, like where you do and sustainability do. You the $1,000 went into cool new boating gear and gadgets and fun stuff. So the more industry you have, the better. Lowers the tax rate. Um yeah, interesting. So yeah, I didn't want to do a video. I tried to limit on things that are going to change so that people aren't getting misinformation, and that's just it would be way too much research to put in. When I saw California, I did a video on California, and started doing the county rates, and I was like, I can't do it. So I gave links to some of the major counties, but let's see, what was that one? How to buy a used boat in the state of California. I started to get into it in that one 2 years ago, And I was like, holy crap, that's way too much. So, all right, we're at an hour and a half. That is enough for me today. A couple hours on the lake, and we still got one more week of school for my girls, and a couple half days after that. So we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys. As always, I appreciate your support. I appreciate you joining me. I appreciate all of the conversation and the interaction and the just the good community that we built here. I really appreciate it. And we will catch you guys all next Sunday. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.